Hello. It's a real pleasure to be here tonight. Sua,
Hi.
it's good to see you.
Hi, Sean. Great to see you too.
Say hello to the audience.
Hello, audience. Hello, London.
I can't say how excited I am to do this. This is once in a lifetime, or I'm hoping we'll be able to do this again in the future, very soon. I'm actually playing with somebody 300 miles away.
4.
Is it 400 miles?
It's 400 miles.
That is amazing. This is normally done through tricks with 2-second, 3-second lag and faked, but this is the first time this is actually real. I didn't actually believe it when I was told, and I was told to pick some repertoire for this performance. Now, I needed to test and see if it would actually work. To do something like that, I needed to pick a difficult piece. Sua, I'm so sorry.
There was a lot of cursing going on at the first rehearsal.
I apologize. The first piece we'll be playing is Handel Halvorsen Passacaglia for violin and cello. It's a lot of fun, and I can definitely say it tests the system to its limits. So I hope you enjoy.
Oh, I'm just going to add a little thing. Your music's blocking your violin slightly. If you turn it slightly, yes, perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Can you see me?
I can now, yes.
That was fun.
It was a lot of fun. It's kind of instant gratification.
Well, we're waiting for our guitarist right now.
Okay.
But while we're doing that, Sua,
Yes.
you had a story of when you had an experience with playing behind a screen before.
Oh, yes, that's true. That was, I was just saying to Sean at our rehearsal the other day that up in Edinburgh we had a raw variety show, and it was at the Playhouse, and the whole of the SCO was booked for it. And essentially we had, there was also a big band, and then, you know, we had Cirque du Soleil, we had all these various acts on stage. So they couldn't put the orchestra in the pit because that was where the big band were. So they put the whole of the SCO in the little room just behind the pit. And they squeezed us in, and they put all these lovely flat screen TVs all the way around the room, so we could see the conductor that was just probably about 40 feet away maximum. And so we had this sort of live feed relay, and I can't tell you the disaster we encountered, because at the rehearsal we realised that in fact all the beats that were coming, they kept saying, "You're late, you're late, you're late," and of course we were trying so hard to be on, you know, absolutely on time. But there is of course a delay, and there was sort of no way around it except for they tried different screens. They changed the screens between the rehearsal and the show. But in actual fact, what happened was we just had to play ahead. You know, the beat went up and we just had to sort of preempt everything. But to try and get essentially 37 people in an orchestra to try and preempt a beat at the same time, it did show up some flaws in the system. So I'm very, very happy to discover that this properly works. So yes.
And you do feel this works?
This definitely works.
It's
This is
incredible,
great.
isn't it?
I mean, you know, it does feel... I mean, I did assume it would feel quite strange,
Yeah.
you know, before we came here, and you sit in front of the screen, and of course, at first it's a bit strange talking to someone behind a screen, or to a screen, should I say. But as soon as we start playing, I have to say, for those of you who haven't experienced it, it does feel incredibly natural once, because all the sort of fine motor skills that we need do kick in, and essentially I can see Sean, I can see, well, actually I'm going to say I can see Cassie, but I can't today because the camera's much lower, so it's kind of, yeah. But yeah, essentially we can see each other and we can hear each other like we're in the same room, so this is brilliant. Yeah. It is amazing. Hi, Tassie.
Hi. I'd like to say, even Sura made it here on time. She's in Edinburgh.
Yes.
That's how great this technology is.
Yes.
Well, the next piece we're going to play is by Piazzolla, Oblivion, which has been arranged by Cassie. And welcome her to the performance. Thanks. I've never taken an A from 400 miles away before. It's very strange.
Oh, sorry, it's quite... Again? I think so, maybe a little bit more.
Thank you. Sua,
Yes, so
can you
Sean,
tell us a little bit about this next piece?
so I basically thought about playing this next piece purely because the composer is a man called Raymond Scott. I don't know if many of you in the room will have heard of him, but if you haven't, you should look him up because he's an amazing man. He was actually, I mean, he's from the last century. He was born in 1908, and he was a great well, he was many things. He had many hats. He was basically a visionary. He's been described as a visionary, a paranoid visionary, misanthrope, and machine fetishist. But he's essentially an electronic music pioneer, and he invented many electronic instruments. And actually, I guess you probably will have heard his music without knowing that it was Raymond Scott. Most of his tunes were used for things like at least 120 animations from the classics of Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, you know, Daffy Duck, and he was used in all the Warner Brothers and the essentially Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies, and you know, so his music, and he would always choose all these incredible titles for his music as well. In amongst them is things like, there's a piece called Dinner Music for a Pack of Hungry Cannibals. There's also a Square Dance for 8 Egyptian Mummies, which, well, I've played a lot of these pieces actually because I have a band that also does this music a lot. There's New Year's Eve for In a Haunted House. There's War Dance for Wooden Indians. And, you know, there's just a whole ream of titles that are quite zany. He had a great band as well. He was a band leader. He had in the 50s, the 1950s, he started this band, which was, it was essentially a sextet. It was called the Raymond Scott Quintet, though, because he was convinced that the word sextet would take people's minds off music. So, yes, he was quite a character, and one of these. Well, I mean, there's many reasons. Also, there's links into why this piece is chosen because there's a group called the Bohunks that played a lot of his music and sort of posthumously made a couple of sort of albums where they played all his, catalogued all his music. And the bass player in that band is the one that taught me the instrument that I'm going to put this cello down and pick up another instrument. I don't know if people have been warned. Have they, Sean?
They haven't been warned.
Okay, so I will place the cello down in just a moment when I finish yapping on. I'll put the cello down and I will pull out my second instrument, which was taught to me by this bass player in the Bohunks. He's from Amsterdam, and his name is Gert-Jan Blom. He's an amazing man. And I'm going to play a tune by Raymond Scott, and it's called Portofino, which I hope, well, it's actually written, Raymond Scott wrote a lot of jingles, and this is actually just a little jingle for Portofino Sherry, which I'm hoping you will all supped on tonight. And it was originally composed for electronic instruments, as you can imagine. But tonight, the closest we could get is this. I'm going to pick it up 1 second. I'm sorry.
It's been really fun to rehearse this piece.
You might not have seen or heard one of these before, but this is it. So, actually, I went over to Amsterdam to pick this up and to get a lesson from this Gert-Jan Blom, and he told me some great stories about travelling with this saw. This is, oh, by the way, in case you haven't recognised it, this is a musical saw. And he told a story about going through Italian customs, you know, and he had it in his bass case along with his bass, and he had it sort of inside the case. And when, of course, they all, you know, gesticulated for him to come over and explain himself, he said when he pulled out the saw to basically show them, he heard a click, 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 as all the policemen, I don't know what you call them, gendarmeries, they all had, he suddenly looked up and they all had their rifles pointing at him. So yeah, he said it can be quite colourful, travel with the saw, and I have to say that I have encountered quite a lot of fun times. So this is Raymond Scott's Portofino, played on the saw basically because it sounds about as close as we could find to the original electronic instrument. Well, I hope you'll agree, it's quite fun.
Sua, it's been a pleasure working with you.
Likewise, Sean and Cassie, it's been a total joy. We've had quite a lot of fun in this process. Okay, ready?